What is up, 2K crew? Yes, it is that time of the week again. Man, talk about some weird and crazy shit this week, 2Ks. My God, we had football scores that look like basketball scores. We have the NBA finals coming, kind of getting wrapped, or not the finals wrapped up, but who we're going to see in the finals. And baseball is getting the seeding all the way down. And you know what? The SEC kicked off this weekend, so we got a lot of shit to talk about. Not a lot of time, so let's jump into it. What do you say, 2Ks?
Sounds good.
Well, first of all, ladies and gentlemen, if you're listening to this, we need you to do us a big favor, and not us in particular, but us I use us as a community. What I need you to do is go on YouTube and search Marcellus TV. I believe it is Marcellus Wildcat TV, and subscribe to their YouTube channel. What they're trying to do is so they can live stream games easier for the community. They're trying to do it over mobile, or have the option to do it for mobile, and they need 1,000 subscribers. So do us a favor, 2K crew. Even if you really aren't planning on listening or watching it, just go ahead and subscribe to them for us, for the community, so it's easier for everybody. And kind of a little teaser, as you might be hearing, at least hearing, maybe seeing our lovely faces, in some projects with that. Mm-hmm. So we don't want to give too much away, but I just want to give you a little teaser, give you a little tickle of the balls there, tickle of the balls. So 2Ks, let's kind of rip the Band-Aid off. Lakers are in the finals.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's not a shock to anybody. Leading up to that is who their opponent was. I think it was more the surprise. Mm-hmm. Your dudes came through, beat the clip show, mm-hmm. and actually, I think they gave the Nuggets gave the Lakers a little bit more of a run for their money than most anyone thought.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Jamal Murray alone kind of put himself in the conversation of being not just a great player in the NBA, but an elite player.
Absolutely.
And you got to think we only really have probably 5-6 players in the NBA total that we really can call elite at this level. And Jamal Murray, if with anything with the bubble and going into the postseason play, he's put himself in that conversation.
Yeah, and both the Nuggets and the Heat, I think, were the two biggest surprises coming out of this, because there's no quit in any of them. Mm-hmm. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's the bubble that's kind of made them more cohesive as a team. And gotten that chemistry to them. So kudos to them. As we're recording this, I want to say before you said that the Heat and Celtics game was on at 7:30 tonight. That's Game 6, and Heat are up 3-2. Excuse me.
Correct. And
so we shall see what happens with that. Now, kind of give the 2K crew a teaser. There, 2Ks. What's your pick on that game tonight?
I think the Heat are gonna end it tonight.
Wrap it up?
Yep. I think it's gonna be Heat, Lakers, in the finals. The Heat just kind of been that. I think it's been a surprise if anybody was picking the Heat to make it to the finals back at the very beginning of the playoffs.
Right. No one was.
No one was doing that. I mean, I can remember us having a conversation like, yeah, we like that team, mm-hmm. and they're up and coming. They got some young kids coming, but they're a year or two away from being able to make a run for it. And now, after from what we're watching here, and I talked about Jamal Murray, showing up. Tyler Hero, rookie for the Heat. Man, he's good. Mm-hmm. And then you already have Jimmy Butler. We know what you're going to get out of him. And then the Heat are just solid. They just have they remind me a lot of the Nuggets as far as being very deep. Not necessarily having the superstar caliber players that like the Lakers with LeBron and mm-hmm. Anthony Davis, but they're just so deep. They go 4 or 5 guys that they can bring off the bench that are could start on a lot of teams, and so. But no, I think they end it tonight. I think it's going to be Heat and Lakers, and LeBron's going to be playing against his former coach, former team.
Yep. I totally agree with you. I even though the Celtics are a great team, they have Jason Tatum, bunch of basically a very young team.
This team's not going away. This team's going to be right back in the conversation next year.
And if Gordon Hayward were to stay healthy this whole postseason, we might be seeing a little bit different Celtics team. But yeah, I agree with you, and I kind of want it that way. So there's more of the storylines, like you said, about LeBron playing against his past team and coach. and all of that stuff. Why? Because we are fucking media, and that's what we want. We want the drama. We want that. And but no, I figured we'd kick the show off with that. Just kind of rip the Band-Aid off, get past that, so we can talk about some other cool shit. And other that other cool shit, my friend, is man. SEC kicked off yesterday. Obviously, one of the first teams that anyone's going to talk about in the SEC is Bama, and Bama was nothing short of Bama. Mac Jones looked very good. However, it wasn't. I can't remember who they played. But,
Missouri.
Missouri. So, not a great team, but still. I mean, the traditional schedules that you normally see for Bama is they play like 5 cupcakes and then a regular game. This is they're playing all SEC games, so maybe a little bit harder of a road per se to get to the college football playoff, but they started out with a bang. Another game that jumped off was the Miami-Florida State game. Now, of course, that's. I was watching Game Day and the whole lead up to that, and how close the games were, and this one wasn't even close at all. Was it like 51-18 or some shit like that?
52-10.
Wow. And I want to say it was the most lopsided victory in the in the rivalry. So, yeah, that was Miami and that quarterback. They are fucking jet, man, legit. And of course, you got the stupid turnover chain, and that thing was very prolific throughout that game. So, and then again to kind of move away from the SEC, and we're talking about the basketball scores. We had what was it, Texas Tech, right? Mm-hmm. And that game went into overtime. I can't remember how many overtimes, but that game was like 87-76 or something ridiculous like that. Not really, but was it like 56-46 or something like that? No, it went into overtime, so it'd only be like 6 points. But still, it was a lot of defense being played in the Big 12 as usual. As usual. But this one was. It's especially as early in the year as it is. You're seeing a lot of games where either the offense is ahead of the defense or the defense is ahead of the offense still, and you can tell right out the gate what type of game it's going to be. And this one obviously was a fucking track meet, which is what the Big 12 is known for. Oh, yeah. I mean, hell, I was watching the NFL pregame. They were flashing back to Pat Mahomes at Texas Tech and. Some of the games that he had, putting up almost 60 points. So definitely not a new thing in the Big 12. But since you got your scores up there, what other games that kind of popped out as far as the SEC were concerned that you were kind of keeping an eye on?
Big one for me, obviously we're talking about the reigning champions in LSU, and they get taken down by Mississippi State. Obviously, we talked about the offseason being a lot different than usual, but we have to remember how many of these kids for LSU graduated or moved on to play at the next level after last year.
There was like 5 returners on both sides of the ball combined. Yeah, and so there you're going to see some drop off for sure.
You see, a guy at Joe Burrow's caliber, and then you have Hilaire, the running back now in Kansas City, gone. And then you have Justin Jefferson gone, and all the
offensive linemen gone.
Offensive linemen. Then you switch over to the defensive side of the ball. There was 2 or 3 guys on the defensive side that were drafted early in this draft. So obviously, I'm sure that they don't want to use the excuse that this offseason, being different, because it was like this for everybody. But
sure.
They also, LSU has lost a lot from what they had last year, and
excuse me.
And that's the one thing about with college football, especially with the preseason rankings, is the rankings kind of just go off of what happened last year or the name, the name that's on your jersey that gets you a lot of credit going into seasons. Also, it's not really in college football until you get to like week 3 or 4 when you actually get to see and figure out who the best teams are in college football. And after watching that game last night, I just don't think LSU's very good. I don't think they're...
No.
I mean, I'm not saying that they're bad, but they're not the caliber that we're used to seeing. They're the caliber that we watched all last season. That's not where they're at right now. I'm not saying that they can't get there, but they're not there right now.
Could you imagine the quarterback trying to fill Joe Burrow's
Yes.
shoes? That Joe Burrow accounted for he accounted for 50 touchdowns last year. Had one of the probably the greatest statistical season of a NCAA quarterback in the history of NCAA football. So yeah, trying to fill his shoes is not an easy task, and you probably it's unfair to the kid that's coming behind him to even try.
Oh yeah.
So
And the same thing can be said sliding over back to the Big 12 with the upset of Kansas State over
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma. Kind of the same thing can be said there. You talk about Joe Burrow with LSU. Last year you had Jalen Hurts at quarterback at Oklahoma. Year before that you had Baker Mayfield. And now not Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray. Then you have Baker Mayfield
yep.
before that. So it's just, and now they're going into Spencer Rattler is the name of the quarterback now. The talent is there. There's no question about it. But watching some of the game that I watch, it's a kid that's trying to make too many plays. He's trying to win the game every single play. Very easy to do when you are, when you've been watching the quarterback caliber that Oklahoma has had for the last 10 years. But I think over time, Radler's going to be fine. He's going to settle in. He's going to, let the game come to him a little bit more instead of trying to win the game every play like he was yesterday.
And I think with especially these young quarterbacks that are taking the place of, the seasoned vets, I think they're the ones that are being affected most by no spring games, no extended practices or.
Yeah, you can't mock that speed. You can't mock the game speed. And Kansas State's no slouch. I mean, this is a college football team that's always been very consistently. Not a powerhouse by any means, but they're right there. They're a team that wins 9-10 games a lot of seasons. So they're not a slouch. They're not a cupcake. Start the season off with. To me, it's not a terrible loss for Oklahoma right off the bat. I still think that come end of the season, Oklahoma is going to be one of the favorites to win the Big 12 and possibly have a shot, because we've seen it with the college football playoff is losses at the beginning of the season don't necessarily hurt like losses down the stretch. It's when you lose in the second half, it's hard to battle back. If you take a loss in week 1, you have the entire season to get your team back on track and get yourself into the playoffs still.
I think kind of going off of that, this year's going to be very unique because it's a shortened season, and I think you might be as quality of a loss as that is, you might be seeing some undefeated teams that have it's really you really can't use the argument of strength of schedule.
No.
I mean you can, but you can't. Because no one's playing any cupcakes. No one's bringing in, a D2 school or not a D2 school.
There's no tune-up games.
No.
Most of the time, these powerhouse teams they have 2 or 3 of their cupcakes to start the season. Work
the kinks out.
Yes, exactly. And we're not seeing that this year. You're jumping right into conference play, big time games, and you look at like an Oklahoma Kansas State situation. Oklahoma has everything to lose. Kansas State has nothing to lose. They just go out there and play. And what happens. Same thing can be said with the LSU game with Mississippi State. They have nothing to lose there. So hey, go out there and let it happen. So
go toe to toe with them and see what happens. I mean, you're very right. But I think once we move this college football conversation down the road, we're gonna see, because no one really knows how the playoff committee is gonna weigh anything.
Yeah.
So who the fuck knows what they're gonna like I said, strength of schedule probably isn't going to be as strong as a determining factor, but who knows?
Yeah, to me it can't. I mean, you can't. No. It's really hard to to have that conversation and start penalizing teams for the conference that they play in. It's to me it's too complicated to even do it. So it's just gonna go, I like I said earlier with taking a loss at the beginning of the season, it doesn't necessarily hurt you. Well, it could hurt you in this situation where all you are is playing against your conference, and to take a loss like that early in the season. Well, I mean, it's hard to tell right now. Obviously, a lot can happen here in the next 8-9 weeks before we even get to that, to the situation. So we'll just have to see.
Yeah, and we're still counting down the days that the Big Ten starts, and even after that, I know we've got the Pac-12s on board now, so they're going to be starting. So all the Power Fives will be playing and getting a season in, if you will, so they could qualify for the national title game. But yeah, it's very 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 exciting. Like I said, it's we don't know what the well let's 2Ks let's be honest during the regular doing a regular season we really don't know what the qualifying criteria is for the playoffs.
Yeah,
So
never have been
who
able to
knows?
figure it out.
Who
No.
knows? So it really shouldn't be that much different. But I think the length of the schedule is going to play into it as well. I mean, it has to.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll definitely keep an eye out on that for you, 2K crew. You know us. You know how we do. But so yeah, let's. It's week 3 of the NFL, and shockingly enough, the Lions didn't lose.
They didn't. They pulled it off. They forced some turnovers defensively today. Very impressive against Kyler Murray, who's been arguably the best quarterback, through the first two weeks of the season so far. And they were able to force 3 interceptions today, and set their offense on the right side of the field, and were able to capitalize on it. And down the stretch, Prater knocked down. I know he missed a couple field goals today, but he knocked down the one that he needed to knock down at the end of the game to win it. So, kudos to the Lions. Kudos to you Lions fans for finally getting one. Because they've been in close games all year. It's just been. They blew basically.
They
the
find
first
a way
2
to
games.
lose it.
Yes, they just blow them. And this one, well, I guess I should take that back. As Green Bay, they didn't really necessarily blow it, but today they figured it out, and good for them. And we get to go a week and not have to listen to Lions fans bitch about Matthew Stafford.
Oh no, they still will. They still will. But the dude throws for almost 300 yards, two touchdowns, no interceptions, and obviously it's his fault that they're losing these games.
Yeah,
'cause,
absolutely.
But no, the bottom line said
I would like to know, and I'm just throwing this back out there. This is my question for Lions fans.
Love it. 2Ks stirred up. Let's go.
The absolute shithole that the Lions have been in basically since I've been alive.
Yeah.
And I'm 28 years old. Where would the Lions be if Matthew Stafford never came along?
Where would they be if they were in the situation like the Browns, where they've had like 18 quarterbacks in the last
exactly. And
15 years?
That's probably what would be going on if it wasn't for Matthew Stafford giving them some consistency. He did take them to the playoffs. Mm-hmm. He did play well enough in the playoffs to move on and win games. And obviously that didn't happen because the Lions always have a way.
Is that the year they played the Saints in the first
Yes.
round? Yeah, and the Saints pretty much destroyed them.
So
I do remember that.
It's just I find myself thinking, like, where would they be? Mm-hmm. Where would they be if it wasn't for Matthew? And everybody, all these fans, they always want to knock him, and it's just like, well, he is the only
good thing about that
you
team.
guys have ever had. Like, I get it. Down the stretch of games, he doesn't necessarily, capitalize on it. He kind of reminds me a lot of, I'm a Cowboys fan, Tony Romo. Mm-hmm. Tony Romo just didn't make the big time plays in the big situations. He put the numbers up, and he won a lot of ball games for them. He put the team on his back a lot and won ball games, just like Stafford has. But in big situations, Romo would fucking shit the bed.
Yep.
And Stafford is very similar in that, but a lot more goes into it than just the last drive of a game. Yeah. There's a lot more things that go into it, and to put all of the blame on him, and it's like, man, what the biggest problem in Detroit, and the same thing could be said for Dallas. I mean, they're very similar, very similar. Is ownership. It starts at the ownership, and they fucked up. You look back at Dallas in the late '90s, back when they were actually good, and Jerry Jones runs Jimmy Johnson, the best coach that has ever been in Dallas, and he runs him out of town because he was taking over Dallas. Like, he was becoming more important than Jerry Jones. So Jerry Jones basically forced him out of there because spotlight needed to be on Jerry.
Of course.
And forces him out of there. And then you flip it over to the Lions side, and it's just like, I can remember back when they had Matt Millen as their GM there.
Everybody wanted him out.
Yes.
As soon as he got out, life was going to be better.
Yes. Then we bring over the guy from the Patriots. This is going to be the guy. Look, he's built it up in New England. He knows what he's doing, and no, he doesn't. He just keeps on trading for more Patriots players that the Patriots don't want.
Yeah, they're washed up.
Obviously, if Belichick's fucking trading them, that means that they're probably their best years are behind him. Yeah. Belichick's not just going to trade somebody that's going to be a very valuable asset to a team. So he's giving up guys, and it's just
I guarantee if you ask any Cleveland Browns fan,
they would take Stafford in a second.
Miami Dolphins fans,
yeah.
Denver. How many quarterbacks has Denver went through post Peyton? Mm-hmm. There's a handful of teams that love to have Matthew Stafford, and Matt Stafford would probably flourish.
Yeah.
And you and I both get irritated because we're both not Lions fans.
Yeah. But I root for him. I really do. I always have. I mean, yeah, I am a Cowboys fan. And trust me, being a Cowboys fan is probably more frustrating. At least the Lions fans know that they're going to suck when the season starts. Dallas, it's kind of like being a Michigan fan. The media talks you in to thinking that they're going to be winners.
Yep.
And then the season starts, and reality hits you, and you're like, this team that everybody was telling me before the season started was going to be a winner sucks. And so it's and I do it to myself. I've chose to be a Michigan fan. I chose to be a Dallas Cowboys fan, and they're the two most frustrating teams in the United States to fucking root for. I mean, easily, because the media chimes them up every year. I mean, we're seeing it with Michigan right now, and the season hasn't even started yet. And Joe Milton won the job, and guys are talking about how well of a quarterback he is, and I'm like, this motherfucker has played like 6 snaps since he's been at Michigan. Yeah. But somehow the media is twisting this as he's like, a front runner for the Heisman this year, and all this.
Let's pump the brakes just a tad.
No, you talk me into this every year, and then we lose to Ohio State by 28 every year. We always lose a game that we just shouldn't lose. Like last year, fucking Penn State game, we lose.
Almost lost the Army game last year.
Yes, and it just always pops up. So they get your hopes up, and then they just shit on you, and and the Cowboys do it year in, year out. You think. I mean, you look at this offense that they have now.
There's no way they shouldn't be putting up 45 points a game.
But they have all the firepower on the offensive side of the ball, but it doesn't do you any good when you give up 40 fucking points every single week. So it's so frustrating. Why I do it to myself, I don't even know.
Well, speaking of your boy Harbaugh over there, I heard some rumors that they're working on a 3-year extension for him. So. We shall see. You and I talked about it. Kicking out. I want to say it was last week or the week before about him. This is put up or shut up here, and especially with a shortened year. I mean, granted, they don't have an easy shake at getting to or once they get to Ohio State being undefeated, and those two kind of battling it out head to head for the right to represent that side of the bracket. But yeah, this is to me, and I'm looking at it from an outsider, obviously, and comparing his Harbaugh's resume to Brian Kelly's. Starting off, they're very similar. That Notre Dame has different. We don't have that, direct hatred rivalry like Ohio State and Michigan. We have other rivalries where you're like USC. We've been rivals with them forever. Some of the new ones that have popped up, like with Michigan and Michigan State, and so there really isn't that like love-hate, type of thing. But eventually, Kelly played for a national title. We've made the college football playoff. Did we really deserve either one of them?
No, but you were there.
We were there. Did we compete in either one of them? Fuck no. No.
But you were there. Yeah. But you were there, and I think Michigan fans would be ecstatic just to be there and just to have.
No, they should. They should.
And I'm still I have mixed emotions on Harbaugh. Don't get me wrong. What scares me is what are you gonna who's out there who's better? Who's the better man for the job? Because really, I mean Harbaugh. And I want it to work so bad. I mean, obviously he's a Michigan man.
Everybody does.
If you're a Michigan fan and you don't want Harbaugh to be the guy, how the fuck can you even be a Michigan fan? But I have a hard time thinking of who's better. And then I look at the Notre Dame situation, and there was times because Kelly started off really good at Notre Dame, and then he went through a kind of a funk there.
Yep.
And there were a lot of people that wanted his job.
He had a hot seat for a couple of years.
They wanted him out, and they stuck it out with him. And I keep thinking, and it worked. And they stuck it out with him, and then they got past it, and it started to work. And that's what I kind of think with Harbaugh is, okay, it's not like he's putting up, he's not having Brady Hoke years or Rich Rod years where they're having a losing record or they're only winning 7 games or whatever. He's not having that. He's getting just knocked on, and he's winning 9 games at least every fucking year, but he just gets fucking bashed for everything he does, which it comes with the job. I mean,
Yep.
just like the media fucking pushes
I was
pushes
just
Michigan
going
all
to
the
say,
time.
getting back to what you said about
Yes.
the media pushing everything.
Yes.
They're the one that's putting him in the spotlight. They're the ones that are
Yep.
highlighting,
Yep.
his record against top 10
And you can
teams.
say it about every single sport. We talk
yes.
about it with LeBron James, the best player in the NBA, and he gets so many. He gets knocked. They don't knock him, or they don't say anything about this is going to be the 10th finalist appearance that he's going to be in. They talk about all the times he's lost in it.
Of course.
And then, and that's what the media does, and it is what it is. And that's what comes with the Harbaugh job. But I really think stick it out. Keep letting him do his thing. He's still, he's winning games. The only knock we really can have, because he's taken care of the Michigan State rivalry. He's won that. He's single-handedly, easily the last couple of years. So he's gotten that back on the right track. Now he's trying to figure out Ohio State. And let me tell you, there's maybe 3 teams in all of college football that can take care of Ohio State. So that's not an easy task. And I get it that people are running out of patience and you have to do it. But that's not easy. That's not an easy task. We're talking about one of the, if not the best, college football program in the land. So, and if they're not the best, they're the second or third. They're right there. So
it would be different if Harbaugh had Michigan as a top 10 team and Ohio State was outside the top 25 and he was consistently losing to
that. Yes.
That's not the case at all.
No.
Both of them for the last couple of years both of them have been in the top 10 or 15 consistently all through the all through the year. So when it gets down to that last game of the season, you have a college game day type experience there because there's a lot on the fucking line.
Yep.
It's either both teams are undefeated, both teams are, one team is undefeated, one team has one loss,
Absolutely.
or both teams have one loss. So, in my opinion, I'm with you when you say, who else would you put there? Les Miles?
No. Fuck no. Fuck no. I never been a fan. Never been. I just think he's a douche. I'm sorry. I know he's a Michigan alum, but I just think he's a fucking douche. I can't buy into that. The only one right now that I would be like that I would actually be legitimately excited about is probably PJ Fleck. PJ Fleck is someone that I think I could probably get behind that excitement. Man, the guy just fucking wins.
And
he just wins, and the just the way he goes about it. I know that to a lot of people it might annoy them, or he might come across a little bit fake in ways, but man, I don't give a shit. You come into Michigan and you figure out a way to get the better on the better side of the Michigan Ohio State rivalry. I don't give a fuck. I'll take it however.
Yeah.
And I think that Harbaugh is kind of the same way, and he annoys a lot of people with some of the antics that he does, and he's brought it back. I think he's brought it back, kind of dialed it back the last couple of years from where he was when he first took over the job. But in a way, as a Michigan fan, I'm kind of upset about that. Like, I liked that fire in him, and obviously everybody that's not a Michigan fan hated it. But if you're a Michigan fan, I think that's what you liked about him is he was a little bit fucking quirky. He was weird about the way that he did things, but he was a winner. He won. He won at Stanford. He won when he went to San Francisco. There's no question that sooner or later he's going to get it figured out at Michigan. He's going to win there. But they have to go through a powerhouse in Ohio State every year, and I don't think that people are asking for them to beat them like Ohio State has for the last 10 years. I think they just need to win. They need to keep it consistent, and in a 5-year span, win 2 or 3 of them, and I think everybody's going to be happy.
Or at least keep it close.
Yes.
I mean, the last couple of times it's been a beatdown. I mean, it's been, Michigan's had one of the top 5 defenses in the country. They come up and play 2 years ago. They come up and play Ohio State, and Ohio State just shits on them. Then in the bowl game, they fucking shit on them, and it's like, where does this defense go? Did it not travel to Ohio State? Did they leave some players back in Ann Arbor? I mean, what the hell's going on? But no, I just figured I'd kind of stir the pot a little bit, throw that in there to see what you thought about the. But like I said, I saw it on one of the sports blogs that I read, so I'm not necessarily sure if it's 100% true or not. But I figured I'd just kind of toss it off, bounce it off. You see what you thought.
I mean, I think you're gonna. He's such a, and that's the other thing that kind of a different argument, but everybody's always quick to judge him, and it's that's part of being the Michigan coach, and I get it. That's what goes with it, and everybody says, "Oh, he's terrible. He fucking sucks. He sucks." But every single time that there's a vacant job in the NFL, he's one of the very first names that that's thrown out there. So obviously, he's pretty fucking good at what he does
Right.
because every single time that there's a job opening that comes up in the NFL, Harbaugh's name is always in that conversation. Like, and I think that Michigan, by doing this, by extending the contract, that they're getting on top of that. They know that there's going to be openings, with the football. Obviously, if you watch the New York Jets, you know that job's going to come open here, probably here in the middle of the season.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to put my resume in for that one.
So yeah, so it's like,
And his history in winning in the NFL too has got to be so appealing to any organization. Yes, we're seeing kind of the norm is to hire these young offensive minded. I mean, we're watching one of them right now in Green Bay and Mr. LaFleur. The younger generation that have kind of taken over and
yes.
just ran with it. I mean, there's been a lot.
Just off the same tree as LaFleur.
Yeah.
It starts with Shanahan.
Yep.
With the old man Shanahan, then it goes to Kyle Shanahan, and then to Sean McVay coming off that branch, and you got LaFleur coming off of that, and it's just the names that came off of that, off of basically that web of Mike Shanahan.
Absolutely.
Some very, very impressive names, and kind of when you look around the NFL as a whole, some of the best coaches in the NFL all off that same exact branch. I mean, to me, what LaFleur has done, and just in his year in week 3 of his second season. McCarthy that Green Bay team was a fucking joke, and they come back with basically the same roster, added a little bit here on the defensive side of the ball, and it's like a rejuvenated Aaron Rodgers that you're watching.
I was gonna say,
and with basically no weapons. And, he's got Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, and then it's like, it's a lot of just no-name guys that are stepping up, and LaFleur is not necessarily playing the game where you've got to get the ball to, because I thought with McCarthy they played a lot of, we got to get the ball to the big name. We got to get the ball to Devontae. We got to get the ball to where I think what is so impressive with LaFleur and watching Sean McVay, he's the same way. Is he schemes guys open. He schemes, and it's not necessarily always the big name. And he has, you look at LaFleur and you look at the box score after the game. He's got 8-9 different guys touching the ball on the opposite side of the ball, and he's scheming everything open. And when you do that, that's what opens up the big plays for Devontae Adams or the big plays for Aaron Jones. And so. Very impressive with what he's done at Green Bay so far.
And on top of that, just him gaining Aaron Rodgers' confidence that quick.
Yeah, I mean, I would being a Dallas fan, we got fucking McCarthy now, and I obviously it's only been 3 games, but I'd fucking ditch his ass and bring LaFleur to Dallas in a second. There's no question, not even an argument on my side.
Yeah, and kind of getting back to the NFL. Look at the 49ers. They had like 18 people tear ACLs last week. They go back to the same stadium, mind you. Yeah. Which has got to play a little bit on your psyche. You just watched Nick Bosa and half of your team get fucking hurt the week previous. Now you go back in there and play the Jets. And granted, the Jets suck. No,
Giants.
The Giants. Sorry, they played the Jets last week.
They suck too, but they're not as sucky as the Jets.
Well, they lost Saquon last week, so
yeah.
But they and Shepard, so Ingram's still healthy, which is really weird, but no. So the 49ers have to go because they can't stay in New York. They have to fly home and then fly back, which is really fucking stupid. But man, they fucking manhandled the Giants with like their entire second team and probably half of their practice squad up. So big ups to the coaching staff over there for putting their players in a position to.
Nick Mullins played great today. I mean, he had over 300 passing yards. Had a touchdown. Didn't turn the ball over. Obviously, wide receiver, just different guys stepping up. You have. Debo's out. He's done. And then you have Kittle was out again today.
Yep.
And so now the rookie, Ayuk, or whatever his name is, he stepped up, had a good game today. At running back, McKinnon had a good game. I think he ended up actually getting dinged up a little bit.
I was just going to say that.
And hurt. But then it was like the fucking 5th string running back that steps out of nowhere, Wilson, and he scores 2 touchdowns, and it was just like.
So whoever did their homework in fantasy football, kudos to you if you picked up that guy.
That would be me. I have him. Him.
Of course you would. Of course you would.
I mean, the way that San Francisco runs the football, to me, you have to own at least somebody on their team, and with basically the top 4 or 3 of them being hurt, and McKinnon being the one that was starting today, and he's been hurt his entire career. I was like, I got to pick up the guy that is behind him. Just it's a matter of time, kind of one of those things where it's a matter of time.
Right.
And sure as shit, McKinnon comes up a little bit lame on a play in today's game, and I don't know. I mean, obviously looking forward to next week, who knows? But I know that he was done for the remainder of the game.
I'm looking here in the 49ers won 36-9, mind you. So that, like I said, the Giants were never in that game, and yeah, the bottom line kept scrolling, and the 49ers quarterback was the leading passer for a lot of the day today.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm looking for is the Chargers have a bye already. I didn't think bye week started already.
In what, week 4? I know week 5.
This week. This
week.
No.
Chargers played today. They played
They
against
played the Panthers.
Panthers, yeah.
All right, there we go. And yes, I should have probably done this previous to the show, but I was busy. Who's the quarterback that played in that? Was it still
Herbert?
Yep.
Yeah, what a crazy story.
Holy, yeah.
I mean, just crazy. Like I was reading that. I don't know. I think it was like Tuesday when that kind of surfaced.
It was Monday.
Or was it Monday? When it surfaced?
Yep.
And because I was wondering what happened. Like
punctured his lung.
Yeah, because it said that he was hurt during warm-ups, and when it showed him on Sunday, like sitting on the bench, it was like, man, how do you hurt yourself that bad warming? Oh, it turns out, yeah, you have a fucking collapsed lung from puncturing your lung, with what was it, cortisone?
Yeah, he had a rib injury,
yeah.
and they were trying to numb it, and the team doctor didn't go where he was supposed to.
Guessing he's probably not the team doctor anymore.
No.
I think he's probably and probably won't be finding a job anytime soon.
No, he will probably be pumping gas somewhere. But no,
poor bastard.
Here's kind of a story that I want to keep revisiting, because Herbert went 35 for 49 for 330, a touchdown and a pick for his second career start.
I liked him. I liked the kid.
I watched his game last week and was absolutely blown away. Now, of course, the media and everybody was, there goes Kamara. He's gone. They were obviously touching base on this and giving their opinions, because the brass over the Chargers said, you know what, when dude is healthy, he's getting his job back. Mm-hmm. Pretty sure Tyrod Taylor's parents don't even know he still plays football. I didn't even know he was in San Diego until or LA now, excuse me, until they were talking about drafting a quarterback. Of course, Phillip Rivers leaves there, mm-hmm. so obviously leaves an opening. And I hate to say it, but if Tyrod can't beat out him,
mm-hmm.
there's no way he should start any game.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the way Herbert's been throwing the ball these first 2 weeks. Are you fucking kidding me? And all of the the ESPN brass is like, Herbert's won the locker room over how well he played the first game, and he should.
Absolutely.
He should. Tyrod Taylor should never see the field again. I'm sorry, Tyrod. I know you're a fan, but come on now. You have to be just as realistic as we do, mm-hmm. because I'm sure you've watched the game film on this kid, just because it's part of what you watch game film when you're a football player. I guess I've never been a professional football player, but all of them talk about watching a lot of film, and that is quite a medallion. Jesus Christ, it's my goal to my family. But
Kamara touchdown.
Yep.
Son of a bitch.
Well, instead of trailing off into this, we'll transition from a new quarterback to an old quarterback. And another talk this whole week was about Drew Brees and how washed up he is.
Mm-hmm.
He can't throw the ball down the field. When's his backup going to take over?
Yeah. The media loves to talk about failure. They want to talk about somebody that has been elite, and then they want to talk about them fail. 2 weeks ago, it was Tom Brady. It was Tom Brady.
Yep.
And then you look at Tom Brady today, and he was basically like, fuck you, fuck my critics. I'll score 3. I'll throw 3 touchdowns today. I'll throw for 3 bills. I'm still TB12, motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. That's what he does. And tonight we're going to watch Breeze, and I bet first quarter of the game right now, I I probably can't, call what I think is going to happen after the game's started, but
Right.
Breeze is going to light this Green Bay defense up tonight. He's going to light them up.
For the last 2 weeks, for those of you that haven't seen either one of the Tampa Bay games, that's called dropping dick.
Mm-hmm.
Dropping dick, and you guys know, if you follow us for any amount of time, you know I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but you got to respect what the dude's fucking doing. I'm not a hater by any means, but man, I've followed Drew Brees his whole entire career, even going back to when he just used to light Notre Dame secondary fucking up, throwing the ball almost 60 times every fucking game, every year for 4 years. Him and Kyle Orton both would just destroy Notre Dame's defense. So yeah, I've had a little soft spot in my heart for Drew Brees, and he even said himself, he goes, you know what, if I'm not good enough, then take me out.
Yeah. And what are you going to do? You're going to throw in Jameis?
Yeah.
And watch him, turn the ball over left and right, and he'll probably still throw for 400 yards. And
I don't know. He had eye surgery, so maybe he can see his.
You can't fix stupid.
Better. That's true. That's true. But no, I'm right there with you. Everyone is, in our society these days, everyone wants everything for free, and everyone wants everything right now. And yes, if you watched that game last week, they said that Drew Brees has never started 2-0, or maybe like twice his whole entire career. So calm the fuck down.
Yeah.
Calm the fuck down. They ran into a very, very motivated Las Vegas team, and I had a feeling that Coach Gruden did not want to lose the first game in that building. So he had those boys playing probably the best football I've seen a Raiders team play in a very long time. And then you fast forward to this week, and they just get destroyed by Cam and the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
It came down to one team had a good day, the other team had a bad day. And everyone was bitching about how Drew was, not throwing the ball. He's only averaging 4 yards in the air or whatever. Keep in mind, Michael Thomas didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
Big-time receiver, big-body receiver didn't play. Kamara had a hell of a game. Hell of a game. Believe me, I was playing Carl in fantasy, and that's the only reason he won is because Kamara had a hell of a game. So don't tell me that when that big-time threat is gone, it makes it a hell of a lot easier for the defense to keep coverage, play harder coverage, play coverage, play right up in their grill, press coverage, so you're not just 10 or 15, 7 yards off the ball. You change your whole defensive scheme when a elite, probably arguably the best receiver in the fucking game right now. When he's not in there, it's a whole different team. So everyone, calm the fuck down. I think we're going to have a shootout on our hands. We got Aaron Rodgers going against Drew Brees. We might see one of those 55 to 56 games. Probably not that much, but I'm going to guess 45 to 42 or somewhere very close into there because, I did drop New Orleans defense for this because I had a feeling A-Rod.
I wouldn't want anything to do with either one of these defenses tonight.
Now, is Adams playing tonight?
No.
No? So the two of the top 5 receivers in the game are not playing tonight, the same game. Yep. So, but yeah, I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of points scored regardless of who's, because you know as well as I do, Drew Brees has thrown to a million different fucking receivers in his whole entire career. So
same thing can be said for Rodgers.
Yeah.
These are two of the best quarterbacks there are at divvying the ball out to everybody and getting everybody in the offense involved. And that's what opens up your that's what opens up your stars. That's what opens up Devontae Adams. That's what opens up Michael Thomas. Is when you start feeding the rock to everybody around.
Well, then you got two very, very, very good running games as well. Both backs are versatile, can catch the ball out of the backfield very easily. Jones and Kamara could take a 1-yard pass and turning it into a 99-yard touchdown really, really easy. So the weapons are there. I'm not gonna go out on a limb and say that Drew's gonna have a drop dick performance, kind of like TB12, but he'll be over 300 yards and at least 2 touchdowns in this game, I mean, I'd bet $100 on that. Very confident in that. And then same thing with Rodgers. At least 300, 2 or 3 touchdowns. So regardless, it's going to be an amazing game. And let's wrap up our NFL talk this week with probably the game that everyone wants to fucking watch. Lambjack, Mahomes, Monday Night Football. I think we're in for a hell of a treat.
Yes.
I really, really do. It's kind of hard to give a prediction on this because you never know what the fuck's going to happen. You never know what the fuck's going to happen. Now, you and I have debated this. You know, would you start your team with Lamar Jackson or Pat Mahomes? And you lean more towards the Jackson side. I've leaned more towards the Mahomes side.
No, I'm with you.
Oh,
Mahomes,
you're with me?
Mahomes,
All right.
yeah.
For some reason, I thought we were bickering on that. Maybe
I'll take either one of them. I got no problem with that either
yeah.
one of them. But if I had to pick one, I'll go with Mahomes.
And there's a stat that in the previous 2 meetings, Mahomes is 2-0. So hasn't beaten. He definitely has not beaten Patrick Mahomes. Lamar Jackson hasn't. And essentially, I mean, I think what it's going to come down to, the difference in the game, is going to be the running back, Hilaire.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be Mahomes is going to do Mahomes stuff. I think obviously Jackson is going to do Jackson stuff. But I think that's the only really new stick out part of this, really short rivalry that they've had.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, Kansas City kind of had a running game.
Mm-hmm.
But this Hilaire kid, I mean, has solidified that. I mean, he had a breakout first game, a mediocre second game. But the breakout game caused his rookie cards to skyrocket.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have any of those cards, I don't know if you want to hang on to them or sell high right now, depending on what you want to do. But they are very desirable, if you want to put it that way. And I think he's going to be the linchpin.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. Just because, like I said, he's the only kind of major difference from the last time they played. But you could say J.K. Dobbins is in addition to that already potent running game of Ravens.
Mm-hmm.
Totally had a brain fart there, and I don't think we've really seen what he can do quite yet in that offense. He hasn't been he hasn't been featured. I think the way that especially a lot of fantasy owners that picked him up kind of were expecting. But I think the longer the season goes, obviously he's going to get worked in. Mark Ingram is the bell cow. I mean, he's your just blunt force that with speed, and obviously after watching the game last week is a black belt. I don't think most people knew that. I didn't. But I think he's kind of this still their bell cow right now. He's what they hang there. He's a 3 down back,
mm-hmm.
and Dobbins just kind of spells him. I think this might be the game where you put in a package for Dobbins just to kind of see what could happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it wouldn't surprise me that if Dobbins goes off and that package they brought in for him, they just ride him. Because, I mean, that's something – when you hit on something that works, you pretty much want to keep doing it until they stop it. So you got to ride the hot hand with with stuff like that. So give me your score prediction for Monday Night Football 2Ks.
First off, I'm going to say the Ravens win. I'm going to pick the Ravens to win. I think it's going to be lower scoring than what a lot of people might be predicting.
Sure.
I'm going to say the Ravens get them 24-13. Ravens control the football. They run the football better than anybody. Obviously, when you have Lamar Jackson, and then you have 2, 3 running backs that you can slide
Right.
in there, and they can just control the ball, and that's the only way that you're going to be able to beat Mahomes.
Very true.
Is to control the ball. Don't allow him to score fast. Don't allow him to be on the field, and because if he's on the field, he's basically going to score about every drive, whether it's a touchdown or a field goal. He's going to get something. Very few punts when when Kansas City's playing.
I would like to be their punter.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that the Ravens will be able to control the ball. I get it. The fans are really not going to play a factor in it, but it's still they're going to be on their home field. So I'm picking the Ravens, and I'm 24-13. Ravens win.
I would actually love that prediction because I'm playing Jeremy in fantasy, and he's got Lambjack,
Yeah.
and that wouldn't hurt my feelings if Lambjack didn't put up a lot of points. However, I think I'm going with the masses on this one. I'm gonna put I'm gonna go 35-28 Kansas City. 35-28 Kansas City, and even at that score, might keep Lamar Jackson a little bit under control, and I might actually pull off a win here. So who knows? But I really shouldn't give my opinion on what the score is going to be based on my current fantasy football matchup. So that's kind of a bogus way to do it. But no, I really do think that even judging from last week, I mean, there weren't a whole lot of points scored for Kansas City last week. And, it was an opponent that they should have beaten. And so we shall see. I think it's going to be a great game. A great game, whether it's a ground and pound and keep Pete Mahomes off the field, because you're right. He can't score when he's not on the field. And that's about the only way you can guarantee to not let Pat Mahomes score is if he's sitting on the sideline. So that is a very good point. And or if it's a shootout. If it's a shootout, I mean, you could see each one of these guys having 3 and 4 passing touchdowns.
It would not shock me. I mean, I'm picking it to be low scoring because I think that the Ravens will kind of go in with that game plan, that mindset to control the ball. But it would not shock me if this flip-flops and it just goes, and both of these quarterbacks show why they're the 2 best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
And that would not shock me at all. But normally, when you see games where they're supposed to be, like high scoring,
It's not.
It seems like they always, one side tries to play that more like, hey, we're not going to try to, score with Mahomes tonight. We're going to try to control the ball, control the clock, let it run, and then put ourselves in, give us a situation in the fourth quarter to go on and win this game.
Sure.
And so that's where it normally goes, and that's why I'm making that pick. But fuck, if this game gets into the 40s, I'm just going to be like, yeah, well,
It was
doesn't
fun to
shock
watch.
me. Yeah,
It was fun to
exactly.
watch.
This is a great game, and I love watching these, all
Absolutely.
day. So
Absolutely. Well, 2Ks, you know what? We have some pretty good fucking timing. We're about at that hour mark. Anything else any loose ends we need to tie up? I's to dot, T's to cross, anything like that?
I don't think so.
Well, 2K Crew will give you the reason we didn't touch on any baseball tonight is we're going to dedicate all next week to, well, at least the vast majority of next week to baseball seeding, playoffs, review our predictions to see how close we were, who we picked, how good we were at picking. Usually we're not very good, so we'll see how this works out. But 2K Crew, have a great week. Like I said, we'll be talking baseball next week. So if you're into that, be sure to listen because we'll be coming to you. And as always, Jim Rome, we're coming for you too.